Do you ever wonder what happens to your mind when you drift off to sleep? Have you noticed how you always curl up in the same position, night after night? Like your body has claimed one particular shape as home? Maybe you've caught yourself sprawling across the bed after a stressful day, or folding inward when life feels overwhelming. What if I told you that the way you sleep, the position your body gravitates toward in those unconscious hours, might be quietly revealing what's happening in your mental and emotional world? Sleep positions aren't just about comfort or habit. They're a physical expression of your psychological state, a kind of body language that continues even when your conscious mind has clocked out for the night. Psychologists and sleep researchers have found fascinating connections between how we position ourselves during sleep and what we're processing emotionally. So let's explore what your nighttime posture might be saying about your inner world. 1. The fetal position and your need for safety. Curling up on your side with your knees drawn toward your chest. This is one of the most common sleep positions in the world, and it speaks to something deeply human about our need for protection and comfort. When you sleep in the fetal position, especially if you're tucked in tightly with your arms wrapped around yourself, it often reflects a desire for security or a response to feeling vulnerable in your waking life. Psychologists have observed that people tend to gravitate toward this position during periods of stress, anxiety, or emotional overwhelm. Think about it like this. When you were in the womb, this was your original position of total safety, and your body remembers that. If you're someone who consistently sleeps this way, it might mean you're navigating uncertainty, processing difficult emotions, or dealing with situations that make you feel exposed or unprotected. Studies in sleep psychology suggest this position can indicate a sensitive personality, someone who feels things deeply and needs time to retreat and recharge. It's not weakness, it's your body's way of creating a protective barrier while you process everything you're carrying. Maybe there was a time when life felt lighter and you slept more openly, and now you notice yourself curling inward more. That shift tells a story about what you're facing. 2. The starfish position and emotional openness. Sleeping on your back with your arms stretched out above your head or spread wide, taking up space across the bed. This position projects something entirely different. The starfish sleeper is physically open, vulnerable in a way that suggests comfort with themselves and their environment. Research in body language and sleep behavior indicates that people who sleep this way often have a more secure attachment style and feel relatively safe in their emotional lives. When you sleep with your body open like this, you're not protecting your vital organs or creating barriers. You're exposing your chest, your heart, your most vulnerable areas without fear. This can reflect confidence, emotional stability, or a period in your life where you feel less defensive and more trusting. But there's another layer here too. Some people adopt this position after working through trauma or anxiety, almost like a physical declaration that they're reclaiming their sense of safety. If you find yourself shifting into this position more frequently, it might signal that you're in a healing phase, that something in your mental state has relaxed. On the flip side, if you used to sleep this way and now you can't, that change itself is worth noticing. Our bodies often reflect shifts in our psychological landscape before our conscious minds fully register them. 3. The log position and emotional rigidity. Lying flat on your side, with both arms down by your sides, straight as a board. This position has a kind of formality to it. Sleep researchers sometimes associate the log position with personalities that value structure, control, and predictability. If you sleep like this, especially with very little movement throughout the night, it might indicate that you're holding on to control even in sleep, that your mind hasn't fully given itself permission to relax and let go. There's often a connection between this sleep position and perfectionism, or periods of life where you feel like you need to keep everything together and maintain composure. People who sleep in the log position sometimes report feeling like they can't afford to be messy or chaotic, even unconsciously. It's like your body is maintaining its boundaries and staying organized, even when you're not aware of it. This isn't inherently negative, but it can be a sign that you're carrying tension or stress that prevents full relaxation. Psychologists note that when people learn to release control in their waking lives, through therapy or mindfulness practices, their sleep positions sometimes become less rigid too. If you're a log sleeper and you also struggle with anxiety about losing control or letting others down, these patterns are likely connected. Your body is mirroring the psychological state of needing to hold firm, even when rest is supposed to be the time you let your guard down. 4. The stomach sleeper and defensiveness. Sleeping face down with your arms wrapped around your pillow or tucked under your head, this position is less common but psychologically revealing. When you sleep on your stomach, you're literally protecting your front, your most vulnerable side, while exposing your back. Sleep psychologists sometimes interpret this as a defensive posture, one that can indicate feelings of anxiety, a need to feel grounded and in control, or even a subconscious attempt to shield yourself from emotional exposure. People who prefer stomach sleeping often describe feeling more secure this way, like they're anchoring themselves down. Research suggests this position can be associated with personalities that are more guarded, people who have difficulty being vulnerable, or who feel a need to maintain control over their environment and emotions. If you're going through a period of stress, particularly social anxiety, or situations where you feel judged or scrutinized, you might find yourself gravitating towards stomach sleeping more than usual. There's also a physical manifestation here. This position can create tension in your neck and back, almost like your body is literally carrying the weight of defensiveness. Some therapists who work with body-based approaches to trauma note that clients who begin to feel safer emotionally sometimes naturally shift away from stomach sleeping as they heal. If you've always been a stomach sleeper, it doesn't mean something is wrong with you, but it might be worth exploring whether you feel like you need to protect yourself in ways that extend beyond sleep. 5. The yearner position and reaching for something. Sleeping on your side with both arms stretched out in front of you, almost like you're reaching for something or someone. This position has a quality of longing to it. The yearner position can indicate a personality that's open to new experiences, but also cautious. Someone who's reaching out but maintaining some distance at the same time. Psychologically, this might reflect a state of working through decisions, weighing options, or processing complex emotions about relationships or life direction. If you sleep this way, especially if it's a recent change, it could mean you're in a period of seeking, whether that's seeking connection, clarity, or resolution to something that's been weighing on you. Sleep researchers have found that people in this position sometimes report feeling indecisive or caught between conflicting desires in their waking lives. There's a push and pull quality to it, reaching forward but not fully committing, staying on your side but extending into the space around you. This position can also emerge during times of loneliness or when you're missing someone, your body physically reaching for connection, even in sleep. On the other hand, some people adopt this position when they're actively engaged in personal growth or pursuing goals, their sleeping posture mirroring their waking intention to move towards something better. The yearner doesn't sleep in total protection like the fetal position, but they're not wide open like the starfish either. They're somewhere in the middle, which often reflects where they are emotionally, navigating between safety and risk, between holding back and moving forward. 6. Constant position changes and internal restlessness. Maybe you don't have one consistent sleep position at all. You start on your side, wake up on your back, shift to your stomach, and cycle through positions all night long. If this is you, your sleep behavior might be reflecting internal restlessness, unresolved stress, or a mind that struggles to settle even during rest. Psychologists note that frequent position changes during sleep can be linked to anxiety, racing thoughts, or emotional processing that continues throughout the night. Your body is searching for comfort, but can't quite find it, mirroring a mental state that's similarly unsettled. This doesn't mean you have a sleep disorder, though chronic restlessness can certainly impact sleep quality. It often means your nervous system is activated, that you're carrying tension or worry that prevents your body from fully relaxing into one position. People going through major life transitions, dealing with unresolved conflict, or experiencing chronic stress often report sleeping more restlessly. If you notice this pattern in yourself, it might be worth exploring what's keeping your mind active at night. Practices like affect labeling, where you name your emotions before bed, or progressive muscle relaxation can sometimes help your body find more stillness. The constant shifting isn't random. It's your body's attempt to physically work through what your mind is processing. Some researchers in sleep psychology compare it to how children toss and turn when they're excited or worried. Your adult self is doing the same thing, just with more subtle cues. Your sleep position isn't destiny, and it's not a diagnosis. It's one piece of information and a larger picture of who you are and what you're experiencing. If you recognize yourself in any of these patterns, the insight isn't meant to make you self-conscious about how you sleep. It's meant to offer you another way of understanding what might be happening beneath the surface of your daily life. Our bodies hold wisdom that our conscious minds sometimes miss. And paying attention to these physical patterns can be a doorway into deeper self-awareness. Maybe you've been sleeping curled up tight for months and didn't realize it was connected to the stress you've been pushing through. Maybe you notice you sleep differently when you're with someone you trust versus when you're alone. These observations matter because they reveal patterns, and patterns can be shifted when we understand them. If your sleep position seems to reflect defensiveness or anxiety, that's not something to judge yourself for. It's information you can use. You might explore what would help you feel safer, what boundaries you need, or what emotions you've been avoiding. Sleep is supposed to be restorative, and when your body can't fully relax even then, it's telling you something important. Listen to it with curiosity, not criticism. And know that as your mental state shifts, your sleep position might shift too. Or it might not, and both are okay.